Join us here on the Splash Live, Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security for Oakland County. We have Thom Hardesty joining us. Thank you so much for being here, Thom.
Good morning, Kevin. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. We are already dealing with storms that have affected our community. What are some of the most critical steps residents should take to prepare for a storm?
Well, and you mentioned it right there, is prepare, thinking about these things ahead of time. One, having a plan, educating your family so that everyone knows what to do in case of a storm, depending on where they're at. But having supplies at home, really, we tell people you want to be prepared just in case to kind of self-sustain for up to 72 hours. So having food supply, water, medications, supplies for your pets, making sure that you could last 72 hours if you needed to.
And making sure, the main thing from my understanding, like you said, food and water, and making sure you're prepared in case the electricity goes out. That's a key one right there. How does the county ensure that residents are adequately informed about upcoming storms?
There's several different ways for that. Always, weather radio is one good option to have. The National Weather Service puts out information right away. We encourage people to sign up for Oak Alert. It's available at our website. If you type in Oakland County Emergency Management, it'll bring up our homepage. You can sign up for alerts there, and we will send notifications for all different kinds of emergencies, one of those being for weather related, to tell people when they should take shelter. But also for other incidents. It could be for hazardous material spills, for police situations. So having multiple ways to get that kind of information. And then once you get inside and you seek shelter, you want to turn on your local newscast to continue to get updated information.
Right. That way you know when it's safe to come outside, if it's safe to come outside, that type of situation. Great thing to let our community know about. Join us right here on the Splash Live, Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security for Oakland County, Thom Hardesty. Now, nature is nature, Thom, so we don't have control over it. But are there some things or effective ways homeowners can protect their property before a storm hits?
Well, it's walking around and looking at your property. If you have large trees or branches that are overhanging on your home, making sure those, if you can, take care of them safely yourself, if not, getting a contractor to do that. It's paying attention once that storm goes through, staying away from down power lines, staying at least 25 feet away from those. If you have a fence, a metal fence in your yard, understand if there's power lines down, be careful of that, because electricity can work through those fences, and unfortunately we've seen disasters when people come in contact with that. So just being safe, being aware of your surroundings, and like you said, looking at your yard and what you have there before the storm happens might help minimize that damage when it does come through.
Whew, that information about the gate and the fence and the election, that was a key. See, we have to think about these things in advance as much as we possibly can. That way we can be proactive instead of reactive. You understand? So one other thing I want to talk about, locally we did in our local communities, there was some tornadoes that hit. And those are situations that sometimes cause for evacuation. Can you explain the evacuation process in place for Oakland County?
Yeah, so we work closely with every community. Every community in Oakland County has an emergency management representative. We work closely with West Bloomfield Township Police and Fire in each one of these communities. So there's plans in place, whether it be one community that needs to evacuate, our emergency operations center would open. We're in communication with them, learning quickly which roads are open, which roads might be closed due to that storm. Where are there shelters? Where are there places that people could go, so that we can communicate those safe routes that people could go. So again, we would encourage people to sign up for Oak Alert to get information, pay attention to your local news.
Right.
But we work very closely with every community to make sure that we get people updated information.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stay on Oak Alert notifications, get that, stay up to date, watch the Splash Live, listen to local radio, things of that nature to stay up to date on storms, what they're doing, and how they are affecting our community. When we are experiencing a severe storm and we are at home, what is the best or most effective way for our families to shelter in place?
You want to stay away from doors and windows, get to an interior room. Even I had someone recent, my brother tells me that when he has a tornado wanting to come through, he has his wife put on a motorcycle helmet. Putting on many times, if there is a significant storm and significant damage to a home, head injuries are the most serious. So
Mm,
if that storm's coming through, put on a bike helmet, put on a motorcycle helmet,
good
get
point.
to an interior room. You could even consider putting a mattress or that kind of thing over top of you, but sheltering away from those doors and windows is most important.
Hmm. That was a great. When you first said motorcycle, I said motor. You saw the look on my face. I said motorcycle helmet, but head injuries. So smart. Duh. It's like it's yes. Do that. Bicycle helmets. All of that. Protect your head first. Get somewhere with no windows, nothing that can fall or move, and things of that nature. Thank you so much for being here, Tom, and saying that. After the storm, what's the best way to go outside and assess what has happened, the damage, if there is any?
Well, you want to, again, you mentioned that word assess. Take a moment to look around. First, you're going to check on your family and make sure
Oh yeah.
everybody's okay. But then take a minute to look around. Don't rush outside. If you have the ability to see out some windows, again, look out there. If your power's out, then you know there's a line down somewhere. So pay close attention when you go out there. And then once you're outside, you know it's safe to go outside. Check on your neighbors, especially those. If you have somebody nearby that you know might have special needs, have a plan in place with them as well so that they have people that can check on them. If you're a person with special needs, reach out to your neighbors or your family or somebody close that you know can check on you after that storm happens so that it's important to be able to help each other in that case.
Absolutely. Make sure you are in a position to help someone first, and then you help someone if you are, safely and securely able to. One last thing before we let you go, Tom. I mean, just any information that we didn't get to, or any key information that you want to let our greater West Bloomfield community know about when it comes to these storms in the summertime.
We've seen an increase in these over the last couple of years. Excessive heat is the problem as well. We've mentioned before having water, but staying hydrated ahead of time, taking care of yourself. Put yourself in good position before the storm happens so that if it happens, you're in good shape after it. But having a plan in place is really what makes the difference. Being prepared ahead of time will help you get through the storm when it happens.
Exactly. All the message that you want to take away from this overall is prepare in advance, do your research, find out what you need, and then make sure you do stock up on it. Thank you again, Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security right here in Oakland County, Thom Hardesty. Thank you so much for being here and giving us your time.
Thanks, Kevin.